Welcome to this new video about our double-decker bus. In previous videos I showed you the build, the interior, and I made a video about what I would have done different. In this video I want to show you what it looks like to go away with it. So I will show you the packing, the starting, the driving, and what we have to do when we arrive at the campsite. But let's start with packing. Because we have got so much room, we always take a lot of stuff with us, and we use my small company van for taking that to the bus. Most of the times it looks more like moving instead of going on a vacation. Of course, the wheelchair for our son has to come. We always take bikes with us, and this time it is one small tricycle, it's called a triggy, the bicycle of my wife, and a children's bike. I always take my tools with me, those are already in the van. And then we load the rest of our stuff, mostly in crates or bags. If everything is in, I can drive the van to the bus. First thing I do when arriving in the bus is turning on the 24 volts main switch. It turns on the ventilation system, the lights are ready to operate, and then I can turn on the fridge as well. Then I start taking all the stuff out of the van and load it into the bus. When everything is in, I take my shoes off and start distributing the stuff inside the bus, starting off with the stuff that goes into the fridge. When I think I still have got 15 minutes to go, I start the bus. It takes about that long before the bus has built up the air pressure it needs. At that time I also fill in the tachograph chart and put it in. The bus is ready for operation when all these gauges are at a pressure of 6 bar. Then yellow light with the triangle will switch off. Because the electrical cable can be really dirty, I put on my gloves before unplugging the bus. When parked, the bus is hooked up always, the batteries stay in shape this way. Then it is time to move the van out of the way and take the bikes out. They go in the back of the bus and I first have to drive the bus forward for that. Now the bus is ready to be driven a bit forward and I can open the other 2 doors. Behind the second door there comes the wheelchair. All in the back I put in the bikes and my tools. The big bike goes in last, because it is most in the way. Then I drive the bus still a bit forward, so I can park the van where the bus was before. All ready to go, but first I have to check all the cabinet doors if they are locked, so nothing can fall out. It wouldn't be the first time. Upstairs I check the cabinet doors too, and I close the bathroom doors. Okay, ready to go, handbrake off. Now let me tell you how it is to drive with the bus. It just isn't that difficult or different from driving other vehicles. You just have to get used to the size. It is most probably wider, higher and longer than anything you have driven before. The width means you have less space on the road. I find it best to look in the rear view mirror to see where on the road between the lines the bus is. The height means you have to watch out for low underpasses, but in the long run you develop a sense on which kind of roads, spoiler, the smaller ones, you can expect these. And the length means you can only start steering when the rear axle has passed the bend. The bus is half automatic, so you only have to engage the clutch, it will shift gears by its own. First you put this switch in D of drive, and then the bus puts it in second gear. Yes, we use second gear to drive off. Then the bus indicates, with these arrows in the display, when it wants to shift. Just engage the clutch and it will shift. With the stick you can shift manual if you want. It doesn't happen that much, only downshifting to brake with the engine. On the dashboard you might be interested in these 2 switches. With the one on top you can lock the differential in case you are in slippery conditions, and with the other one thanks to the air suspension, you can lower or lift the bus. As I tested it, it lowered some 6 centimeters, and when I tested the lifting, it went off scale, some 13 centimeters up. All in all, the difference is some 20 centimeters. That is a lot. And if you raise the bus, you shouldn't forget to lower, because that could be the difference between missing or hitting that low bridge. After putting the bus on its place at the campsite, it can happen that it is slightly lopsided. We don't mind if it is only a bit off, but in case it goes too far, I brought some wood with us to put at one side under the wheels. I must say, it doesn't happen that often. Then the first thing to do is connecting the power so we can use more devices in the bus. This is very simple. I take the cable and connect it to the bus and in the pole from the campsite. Usually the second thing is opening the gas valve. For safety reasons, this valve is typically closed during driving. I open up the box I made around it, and on the tank is the valve. Most of the time we have no sewer connection at our spot, so then we have occasionally to empty the tanks. But if we do have that connection, I connect the flat hose to the sewer. The 600 liters of fresh water tank lasts a long time. But when the campsite has a water connection on the spot too, I connect the hose so we have directly water supply from the outside. That, together with the sewage connection, ups the showering time from a few minutes to near infinite. Before connecting the hose, I make sure there is no debris inside by letting the water run unconnected for a short while. At this spot we even had the television connection, so I connected that as well. In this picture, the white cable. And we have a directional Wi-Fi antenna which I lay on top of the bus to better pull in the signal from the outside. It works great! Now the last step is taking out the chairs and the table. After again one good but far too short vacation, it is time to leave again. Preparations of that are not that hard. All the connections I made have to be undone. For the sewer connection, that means emptying and rolling up the hose. It's unplugging the power cable and packing it in, packing in the water hose and closing the gas tank again. And after making sure all the doors are closed and nothing is lying around, on the table for instance, it is time to go. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.